What's up, everyone? Welcome back to WillND. I'm here with my pal Jeffrey from Only Talk Sports. What a wild week of football, man! So many upsets. Some of, and it'll be interesting to see how the playoffs finish up. But anyways, what do you think
Yeah,
about it, Jeffrey?
absolutely. Appreciate it, man. Excited to do the show tonight. Cannot believe Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Can't believe Rivalry Week is here. And like you said, an unbelievable week last week in college football. There's so many upsets. The thing that made it so crazy, to be honest, is it's not only, I guess you would say, the amount of upsets, but it's just how the upsets happen. Like who lost, how they lost. I mean, because you take a team like Ole Miss, you take a team like Alabama, you take a team like Texas A&M. All these teams are just supposed to be so much better than Florida, than Oklahoma, than Auburn, and look what happens. This whole narrative of this team's clearly way better than this team, or that team's way better than that. Okay, I mean, yeah, not really the case, right? I understand, yes, that Alabama and Texas A&M and Ole Miss are better than the teams they lost to. But still, there are a lot of teams in college football that can upset really good teams. It's just the way it works. I mean, no one's even talking about Penn State because Penn State won. It's all good, but Penn State, Minnesota by one. Penn State barely beat USC. So like everybody's wanting to go out there and say Penn State's is such a great team. They've had a lot of close calls. All these teams have had close calls. Oregon had the Wisconsin game. All these teams have had close calls. Texas barely beat Vandy. It goes on and on. Georgia barely beat Kentucky. No team is unbeatable. And yes, the SEC is the best conference. Yes, the SEC has most of the best teams. But to just go out there,
It's a bit, yeah. I
clearly
feel like
better,
the
yeah, it's
I
stupid.
feel like this year's the two best teams are in the Big Ten. But the SEC is definitely the deepest still. But
SEC's deeper. That's why you're having a lot of upsets, but it also clearly shows that they're not clearly better. They're not infinitely better. They're better teams. But to say that they should be in the playoff with 3 losses over a 1-loss Big Ten team is insane. Haven't done anything to prove it. So if you don't want to miss the playoffs, you can't lose to bad teams. Right? Like you can lose to Ohio State. Like even again, Penn State, close calls this year, but they've won their games outside of the Ohio State game. Indiana's won their games outside of the Ohio State. That has those 3 losses has lost to a bad team. One of them. And Georgia was 1 point away from suffering the same fate against Kentucky. So that's my issue with the whole thing about the SEC. They're all beatable. They are all beatable. They're not infinitely great this year.
well, let's take a look at the games. You have Georgia Tech avoiding the letdown after the Miami game, beating NC State. So,
Yeah, I mean, you look at a game like that. Miami lost to a team that is struggling with a team like this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it goes on and on. I mean, like I said, the whole narrative of Georgia and Bama and Vandy and Georgia State, it's stupid. The transitive property is just bad. I mean, you can't do that. But Georgia Tech's an okay team. They're an okay team. And Miami is a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, however the phrase would go. They're overrated. They're vastly overrated. They're a quarterback and a couple skill players, and that's about all they got in a weak league. ACC is not strong. They should have 3 losses or 4 losses. They're just not that great. Good win for Georgia Tech, but I mean, coming off that Miami game, I mean, would have been a little bit better for them if they had won this game by more, but I guess a win's a win. Granted, they didn't have King. Give them credit for that, but still, NC State's not very good.
Purdue's still awful.
Michigan State, honestly, didn't do that good. Probably should have won by more. Gave Hudson Card 342 yards through the air. That's not great, especially at home. I mean, they did win, but thanks.
And then, of course, we have to. Sorry, Jeffrey. We have to talk about Indiana, Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? This game exposed the fact that Ohio State is a much more talented team than Indiana. Mm-hmm. And when Ohio State shows up to play, they can be one of the best teams in the country. I mean, they have one loss by 1 point to what everybody's saying is the best team in the country. I can't legitimately say Oregon is the best team in the country. It's close between 4 or 5 teams. But at the same time, Ohio State is very good. Mm-hmm. And it made a few mistakes. There were a few bad calls in this game. Ultimately, if all the things bounced Indiana's way, they still probably wouldn't have won. But it'd been a lot closer. The score is not as bad as the game would indicate, or however you want to say it. Ohio State did not win this game by this much on paper. Mm-hmm. Indiana was a lot closer. I know a lot of people don't care, but I still say that, yeah, if you want to say Bama should be in the playoff, they just lost by 21 to a 500 Oklahoma team. And Georgia lost by 18 to Ole Miss. So Indiana losing by 23 on the road to maybe the best team in the country is not bad. I mean, especially when the game was a lot closer than the score indicates. So to me, I think this game didn't hurt Indiana at all. I mean, they probably shouldn't be ranked at 10. They probably should be like 8 or 9, but it is what it is. But, I mean, I don't really know how much more you could ask from Indiana in that environment, in that scenario. Ohio State was not going to overlook Indiana. If Indiana was unranked, they might, but they weren't going to overlook them like they overlooked Nebraska. So, all things considered, I think Indiana did okay. They didn't do great, but they did okay. Defense was not bad, and they actually ran the ball well. Couldn't pass because O-line just got gutted, but they could run. So we'll see.
Cignetti just needs to clean up the special team stuff for the playoffs. Like, that can't happen.
The thing is all season long, their special teams has been great. But again, this is something I did say before this game. This was the first time they were going to go on the road in this environment. They have not played in an environment like that all season. Their toughest team that they played on the road was at Michigan State. Michigan State's a much lesser environment than this game against Ohio State. I mean, that's why I will say Indiana was very lucky not to play Michigan or Washington on the road or Nebraska. Any of those teams on the road, it might have been a different story. They might not win. So I just think overall that all things considered, Indiana did okay. I think the special stuff will be fine. But it is what it is.
All right. And then Texas beating Kentucky. I mean, they won. They were definitely the better team, but like kind of similar to Ohio State Indiana game, Texas didn't destroy Kentucky. They haven't really. I don't know. Texas could be a fraudulent team. We'll see how this week, but
all these teams have been mid, man. If you really look at it, Penn State, Texas, all of them. I mean, every single one of these teams have had multiple garbage games. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Like, people are saying, "Oh, well, these teams are so much okay." I mean, like you said, Texas is 10-1, and you know they're very talented. They look like a top 5 team, and then they just churn out mid game after mid game. You know, the Ewers issue where he's been hurt some, and they've switched to Arch Manning. I mean, maybe that's messed up the chemistry a bit. I don't know, but overall, I agree. Texas has not been that impressive. Really not. And I like Scotty's. Appreciate you being here, Scott. Oregon's the only one that looked legit, but they still had that Wisconsin game. Every single team has had a game this year where they've looked like garbage. So who is the best team? I cannot say. Because Ohio State was one play away from beating Oregon. The whole narrative would be the other way, that Ohio State's the best team by far, but then they still had that Nebraska game. We can do this for every team. No team in college football has dominated every single game. The last team that had dominated every opponent that they had played was Indiana until the Michigan game. And ever since then, Indiana has looked very human, not nowhere near what some people thought. I never said that they were a top 5 team, ever. I said that at best they may be top 10. Well, that's where they're ranked right now. But no team in college football is unbeatable. I have no idea who's going to win it all. I don't even have a close to an odds for a favorite. There is no odds. Every single one of these top 5 to 10 teams are beatable.
Mm-hmm. Penn State got away with it against Minnesota with the credit to Franklin for the fake punt. Credit to Franklin for the fake punt, but they should have never had to get to that.
Yeah, I wanted them to lose, man. I really did. I don't know about you, but I did. You can't okay. Minnesota's environment, it's a tough place. I mean, whatever. I No, Penn State. If they play like this against Indiana or Miami or whoever, like it's not a guarantee they're gonna win. I mean, like people say Drew Aller's a top quarterback, right? He's a top guy in the whatever. And it's like, again, they're just mid, man. I mean, I said when they played Ohio State that their offense had to be better. Their offense just had to be better if they were going to beat Ohio State. Did it do any better, Will? It was the same old average. Honestly, it was worse.
It was worse.
So, yeah, this is why Penn State, they're ranked way too high. I know there's really not anybody else you can put ahead of them and all that, but if they lose this game, then where are they at? Probably ranked 10 or 11. I mean, they're way down there. But I wanted them to lose. I'm not a Penn State hater at all, but I mean, I just get sick of people saying, "Oh, Indiana should be out of the playoffs, but Penn State's fine." Okay, sure. Yeah, that's brand bias right there. If Penn State's fine, Indiana should be fine. The Indiana and Penn State are honestly a lot closer than people think.
And then Notre Dame against Army, good performance by the Irish. Riley made some great throws. Running game was good. I mean, pretty much everything went well.
Notre Dame has played this year, besides that one game, every game they've played this year, they've looked really good. But how will it translate against a good opponent? That's the problem with Notre Dame's schedule. Like, when they play in the playoffs, whoever they play, it's going to be a much better team than they have faced since that A&M game in week 1. They have not faced anybody in the playoffs and finally prove to people that Notre Dame is not fraudulent. Can they do that? I think I might be cutting out a lot. I don't know if I am. Sorry about that. But that's my thing with Notre Dame. Can they go into the playoffs and prove people wrong? I'm not confident that they can because they haven't proven it against really anybody. I don't even care about the A&M game, honestly, because week 1 games are dumb. They really are. People are saying Miami's so great because they beat Florida by 24. You would think Miami would go on the road and beat Florida by 24 on the road now? No, they wouldn't.
Well, not with Lagway, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. No, I don't care about that game. I don't care about that game at all. It means nothing to me. It means absolutely nothing to me for Miami. If Miami beat Florida by 24 on the road now, yeah, with Lagway, yeah, I would care. I don't go, yeah. Notre Dame, great over A&M, but that was week 1, so it doesn't matter. They just beat USC, and then in the playoff, we'll see what they can do. Are you confident in Notre Dame in winning a playoff game? Are you confident in it?
I'm confident they'll win the first round, but I'm not confident about the second round.
Makes sense. Who's like, I forgot who they matched up with right now.
SMU.
Okay, yeah, that's no. I'm not talking about something like that. If Notre Dame played like Penn State in round 1, that'd be a game. SMU, it's not even legitimate. Notre Dame should win. If they lost that game, that would be very sad. That would make people
Notre
Dame off the stage. But if Notre Dame played Penn State, who you think?
I think Notre Dame's offense is better than Penn State's, and I think Notre Dame's better on offense and defense than Penn State. So I think
Notre Dame's better on defense. On offense, it's not that far apart, though. I don't think. I think Notre Dame's slightly better, but it's not that significant.
Yeah. I think Notre Dame would win by a touchdown.
That's honestly the biggest thing that worries me about Notre Dame. Yeah, like they're running up the score. I want to see 300-plus yard performances from Notre Dame's QB. They never have those type performances. That's the biggest thing that worries me for them.
All right. We got to talk about this game. Sorry.
All right.
So Oklahoma beat Alabama. I mean, Milroe, like Oklahoma said, Jalen Milroe, you have to beat us throwing the ball. And it just didn't work well for the Tide. As he got hat tricks by Oklahoma, and then Oklahoma also just ran the ball down Alabama's throat, which is probably the more kind of concerning thing. that Kane Womack just did not have his team ready. And Kalen, they looked past Oklahoma. Like Kalen DeBoer, that's what he needs to do next year. He can't let his team look past opponents. He's got to do better at that. Like that's just the next step that he needs to take as a coach. He needs to get guys, whether it's through the portal or recruiting, that will play hard for him. He has to get those guys that don't play hard, get them to the portal, get new guys in. They'll play hard for him. But next year's a big year for Kalen DeBoer because missing the playoffs with 12 teams at Alabama is. I mean, I'm not saying like they have to win the national championship every year at Alabama. He shouldn't be holding to that Nick Saban standard. But making the playoffs bare minimum has to be achieved at Bama every year.
I think the biggest problem for me about this game, and like you said, basically the entire season, is that Alabama just is they're not consistent and they don't even look like they try half the time. It bothers me. If you are able to knock off Georgia, I don't care about that second half. If you're able to knock off Georgia, even this year, you cannot lose to Oklahoma by 21. You can't put up 3. You know what I'm saying? Like you cannot put up 3. Mm-hmm. They try in this game and looking ahead to Auburn. Like, what are you doing? Looking ahead to the playoffs? Or I mean, like, what are you doing? Like, you have to win. Everybody said that you had to win out to make the playoff. I mean, it was pretty daggone simple. All you had to do was just win out, right? And then you do this. Like, it's not like Oklahoma played the game of their life and Alabama barely lost or anything. You know, no, they sucked. I mean, they played like crap in this game. Milroe was terrible, but it wasn't even just Milroe. I mean, the entire offense sucked. Really, the only side of the ball that had any bit of decency was the defense. I thought the defense was okay, but the only problem is they allowed Arnold to run all over the place. Is Arnold that dynamic that he's running for 131 yards? Is he that dynamic? I mean, honestly, Oklahoma didn't have to throw the ball at all. Like, they didn't have to throw because Arnold just running all over him like he's Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson. I mean, yeah, he's not. Okay. Not even Josh Allen. Arnold's an okay runner. He probably, after the game, looked at the stats and was like, man, I ran for 131 on Bama. I mean, 10 years ago, Leonard Fournette ran for 10 yards against Bama. That's Bama. That's the Bama defense. This is not Bama defense. Now, they didn't allow a lot of passing, but Oklahoma was just the clock. They were just
Oklahoma
just running.
Can't pass. Like, they cannot pass. Yeah. That's why, yeah.
But the thing is, if Oklahoma can't pass, then what are you supposed to do? Do everything you can to make them pass, right? Mm-hmm. Stop the run, make them pass, and make Arnold throw picks. That's what he's been doing all year. That's why I got benched. It's just pathetic. It's honestly sad. And in this game right here, I don't care how talented they are. Bama is a top 12 team based on talent. Based on talent, yes, Alabama is one of the 12 best teams.
Like Alabama, like they haven't played like it,
and they do not deserve to make the playoff.
This isn't a championship roster that Alabama has because it's
not a championship roster, but it is one of the 12 best rosters in college football.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's not even debatable. They are one of the 12 best rosters in college football, but based off this performance, they do not. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter that they have a top 12 roster. I agree with you. They do not have a championship roster, but they have a top 12 roster. But you cannot play this bad against a mid team in Oklahoma. I'd argue before this game, people said they sucked. They were horrible.
I mean, they were making people didn't think they would make a bowl before the game.
So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's effort. The effort from Alabama does not earn them a playoff spot. Based off talent alone, yeah, they're a playoff team, but they haven't won their games. You cannot reward Alabama with a playoff spot based off their recruiting rankings and their laurels of Nick Saban. That's over. Nick Saban's gone. This is a new team. It's a new era, and they do not deserve a playoff bid. They have 3 losses, and 2 of them are to teams that are 6-5. They do not deserve to be in the playoff.
Wheels up. I mean,
I'm an Alabama fan, and I'm saying that. They just don't.
I mean, I generally like Rivalry Week, but there's some fans that just take it too far on Twitter, mostly.
Well, I mean, Michigan, Ohio State, I mean, that's the only reason that, people say that's the best rivalry in college football, even over Bama, Auburn. Now, I will say, to credit to Michigan and Ohio State, some of the games recently have had massively high stakes, and they've been really, really big games. Now, you go back 10 years ago, not so much, but the last 3 or 4 games have been huge, way bigger than Bama-Auburn because Auburn's been horrible lately. But I will say the big reason why people say that's the best rivalry, it's not even the on-the-field play. It's the amount of proverbial hate that the two fan bases throw at each other online. That hate that people throw online toward each other, a lot of it's just fabricated out of nothing. I mean, granted, there is a lot of history between the two schools, Woody Hayes, Schembler, whatever. I get all that junk, the history, whatever. I get it. But it's stupid. Like, why do you hate that team so much? You're not even in the same state, man. Like Alabama.
State. They're border states. That's why.
Okay, well, why is Indiana, Illinois not a bigger rivalry then? Or Indiana, Kentucky?
Well, it's because
Kentucky,
Michigan and Ohio State were. I mean, they've been good forever. So.
I get it, but I mean, it's just dumb. Why is Alabama Georgia not a big rivalry? The Auburn Georgia is.
Well, Georgia didn't really become good until the 70s.
I don't know. I get it, but you know what I mean, though. Yeah. I get it, but the point that Wheels Up is making is that the rivalries get extra hate and all this added fuel. It is for sensationalism. It's kind of like Christmas becoming a commercialism thing. Well, that's what Charlie Brown was talking about back in the 1960s. Like Christmas is not about what people make it about. It's not about it at all. But they turn into a commercialism thing. Yeah, gifts are great. Everybody likes opening Christmas gifts, but then companies monopolize off of it. It's the way it works. And that's the same thing they do in football. Michigan, Ohio State. The hate that the fans have toward each other, it just seems a little bit way too intense. It does. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about the Iron Bowl is it wasn't really a rivalry until the 80s because Bear Bryant just destroyed Auburn almost every year. But then it became a rivalry once, like pretty much at the end of Bear Bryant when Bo Jackson finally beat him. For only the third time or something. That's kind of when it started.
Yeah, Jim R says the delusionality is rampant between those fans. Wheels Up says I'm in Michigan too. Trust me, it's borderline toxic fuel. And he also says fabricated. And once that fabricated is lit on fire, it becomes too much. I mean, nothing wrong with jabs, like playful jabs. But I mean, it's like the whole cheating thing. Like Michigan cheated, sign stealing, all that kind of stuff. You're trying to tell me that Ohio State has never done anything wrong in their life. You're telling me that Ohio State is just the cleanest program of all time. I mean, you really trying to tell me that? Every single major program that has won big has cheated. Okay? Alabama has cheated. All of them have cheated. You can tell, well, where's your proof? I don't need proof. We know that they cheat because if you win, you cheat. John Wooden cheated. Okay? They can't tell me that. SMU, the only reason why they got destroyed was because SMU wasn't big. They weren't a big school, so they got destroyed. I'm saying.
I mean, I don't think they cheated to the same degree that Michigan and SMU cheated.
You know what I mean, though, man. And like UCLA never got in trouble, and they had decades of history of cheating. You had a guy they paid for 20 years. I mean, Bob Knight loathed the UCLA program for that reason. That's why I say Bob Knight, despite the antics, was one of the best coaches of all time because one of the only coaches that never cheated. He brought in a bunch of dudes that were terrible. And that's why most of the players that Indiana basketball had that went pro didn't do anything. Only Isaiah Thomas. The only reason Isaiah Thomas went there was because his mom told him to go there. Because Bob Knight was a father figure. Because Isaiah Thomas didn't have a father in his life. Other than that, all their other players weren't even good. But UCLA was getting studs. Kareem and Bill Walton and all that. Again, most of the best programs cheat. They just do. I'm sorry, but they do. Alabama, love them to death. Will always be a fan, but you can't tell me they haven't cheated. You can't tell me that. They all cheat. Ohio State is probably all basically just as guilty as Michigan over the day.
All right. Well, we'll see if something comes out about Nick Saban's Alabama team.
Say that again.
Well, we'll see what comes out about Saban's Alabama teams.
Yeah. No. I don't know. That's just my opinion, though. I mean, I think it is rooted in a lot of evidence, though. But it is what it is.
Ole Miss, Jackson Dart choked. Jackson Dart choked. Lane Kiffin also made bad coaching decisions, and Florida.
I think the funniest thing about is honestly of Austin's prediction of 8-win Florida. 8-win Florida will happen. That he said 8-4, but I'll give it to him. Honestly, I'll give it to him. Will if they go 8-5, I'll give it to him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not bad. Florida's not bad. Lagway and again, I'll say it once, I'll say it 100 times. I don't take credit for stuff unless I say it. But I did say in the preseason that if DJ Lagway does not come in for Florida, they have no shot to do anything this season. He came in. I've said he's their only shot to win if he does well. Lagway's been good. He's been good. And Florida turned it around. They are not bad. Not a bad team at all. And get that Georgia win. And they have Lagway earlier in the year or whatever. I mean, they could be an 8-9 win team right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad team. And yeah, Ole Miss did choke. They did choke. They really did.
Mm-hmm. And then UMass was like up for a second against Georgia, and I was like, man, if UMass wins, but
I mean, the fact Georgia gave up 21 to UMass is kind of bad.
Yeah.
Kind of bad. I mean, I understand they won by 35 or whatever, but still not great.
Mm-hmm. And then Tennessee, of course, they aren't going to make the playoff by default unless they lose to Vandy. Oh man, if they lose to Vandy.
You know how epic that would be, though. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know. I know you don't like Tennessee more than me. I mean, ironically, I'm actually wearing a Tennessee shirt right now. The gift, but I will say that it would be hilarious to see Tennessee lose to Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
It would be funny. It would be fun. I mean, Tennessee has really not been that impressive either. I mean, they've had a lot of bad performances. Even the Bama win wasn't that good.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they took care of business. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Against UTEP, better than Georgia did against UMass. But I mean, whatever. and the thing is, this is another thing, right? Oh, well, Indiana, they're. Or Boise, Wyoming stinks. Wyoming stinks. Oh, and Boise State barely won, but Boise's great. What? Yeah. I mean, can you believe that?
I mean, I don't think Boise State's that good, but I mean, they'll get the bye because they only lost one game.
Well, I agree. I mean, and they should because highest ranked. I mean, I get it, but they're not great.
Yeah, they aren't great.
I mean, people are saying the schedule, and because everybody talks about that Oregon game. Oh, the Oregon game. Oh, they hung with Oregon. Dude, it's the same thing that applies to the Miami-Florida thing, where if Miami played Florida now, they wouldn't win by that much. Do you think that
it should be used as a tiebreaker, though?
Do you think Boise State would lose by 3 to Oregon now? No.
No. I mean, if Oregon played like they did against Wisconsin, maybe.
They would get blown off the – well, yeah. And see, this is the problem. If Oregon – the Oregon-Wisconsin game. Okay, well – if Oregon played like that, then yeah, Boise could hang or win, whatever. But if Oregon played like they did against Ohio State, they would destroy. That's my point. This is what I'm saying when you're comparing teams. If Bama played like they did against Georgia against a garbage team like Oklahoma, then they would have blown them out. They didn't, though. Or if Indiana had to play the way they did against Nebraska, against Ohio State, they win. But the quality opponent's different, or you don't always play as well. Boise's not great. That's at the end. They're not. They've shown multiple games that they're just genty. The rest of their team's just kind of bad. Their quarterback's not all that good. That's why nobody talks about him. Mm-hmm. It's just Genty. And Genty's a stud. He's great. But their team, if you're beating Wyoming by 4, when Wyoming has lost multiple games by like 50, okay. Yeah.
And then we have Arizona State and BYU.
Scotty's probably right on this. I mean, Boise's strength of schedule. You talk about like Miami, Notre Dame's, and Indiana is being low. Boise's strength of schedule is terrible.
I mean, like it's just.
It's the Oregon game. It's the Oregon game. But it shouldn't matter.
The Oregon game and like the fact that Boise has won. I mean, it's the record. Man, it's the record.
Then that should apply to Indiana getting in over 3-loss SEC teams. Same thing. Record. Because, I mean, Boise, dude. I mean, that Wyoming performance, I mean, that they should move down for that. yeah, like Penn State beating Minnesota by 1 and Boise beating, Wyoming by 4, and you don't move down. Really? I mean, especially Boise. I mean, Penn's whatever on Penn State, but especially Boise. I mean, you got to move down for that. That's a terrible performance.
What did you think about the end of the game and like then him just like waiting, running backwards, and then throwing the ball? I'm like, just score, man, just score.
I don't know. The refs lately in college football have been worse than ever before, and the play calling I don't understand. It has been bizarre. All I know is about Arizona State is that Dillingham, they're going to have to find a way to keep him too. Like Signetti.
I think he'll stay. I think he'll stay.
I'm saying they got to extend him is what I mean.
Yeah.
They got to give him an extension. I mean, no one saw them going 9-2. Mm-hmm. I didn't. I don't remember what I had them being pretty rough. And BYU was overrated. I mean, they always were. Mm-hmm. But the Big 12's just a whole bunch of teams that are all right, man. I mean, how much difference is there between a team like Baylor or even Kansas? Kansas coming around. Kansas or Baylor than BYU, Colorado, Arizona State. How much difference is it? Honestly, no difference. They're all the same. They're literally all the same. Just some of them won more than the other. I mean, we all knew that when Oklahoma and Texas left the Big 12, this was going to happen. It's just going to become a logjam of teams that are all right. I mean, no offense, but that's just facts. They're all okay. They're all okay. A good win though for Arizona State. They do control. They do control their destiny to make the playoff. They went out. They're in. Right? So good for them. Good for them.
Auburn and Texas A&M. Man, I hate these overtime rules. But
I miss. You remember that A&M LSU game a few years ago? The 7 overtimes or whatever with the old rules. Man, dude. Man, that game was like 6 hours long. See, I don't mind if a game's that long if it's good, right? Like people go, games are too long. Dude, no one cares if the game's too long, if the game's good. Fans loved it. They got to watch more football, and they got what they paid for and then some. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to college football, they I don't care about the TV. There's so many sub channels like FS2 and ESPN News. All you got to do, man, if the game's rolling over, is put the game on the sub channel. That's all you got to do. It's not that hard. I prefer the old rules. Absolutely with you, man. These new rules stink. The 2-point conversion thing is stupid. Mm-hmm. It's stupid. I liked it where every overtime you start at the 25. Mm-hmm. 7 overtime, start at the 25. It was way better. Let them duke it out that way, but it is what it is. All for the sake of shortening the game, even though we're adding more commercials to make the game longer still. Okay, yeah, sure. But yeah, this was a good game and totally not surprising. Again, A&M's so great. Well, Auburn, horrible crap.
Well, you saw what you saw what Elko said in the press conference. Like I
did not see what he said. I don't think
he said we're focused on Texas, and they said, "Oh, Auburn." He had to change it.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now that I think about it, I think I did see that. Yeah, I did. But the thing, that's hilarious. You can't do that, man. Can't have a gaffe like that. But the thing is, Will, this game again proves our point and my point and a lot of people. Auburn lost to Cal. Cal lost to Florida freaking State. Okay, but A&M loses to all. Okay. I mean, really? People are going to really do this transitive property thing. Oh, this team's so much. No. Even Auburn, a team that kind of stinks really, really hard, can beat a top 25 team. It's what it is. Mm-hmm. It's football. That's why I play the games. Here we go as another one, Kansas. I mean, Colorado's so great. Shadur's just elite.
I'm happy that Colorado's done, man. I'm done with Shadur's BS.
Well, the thing is that Colorado is still not a fantastic team. Mm-hmm. I've said that all year too. While admitting that they're better than last year, don't get me wrong, they're way better than last year, but they're still not a great team. I mean, when they were starting to get playoff hype, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, really? If the tiebreakers work out, I think they can still make the playoff. Yeah, the Big 12 winner is cooked. They're cooked, man. The Big 12 winner, there's no way. There is no way the Big 12 winner has any shot of winning the playoff. There's just no way. They're not even close to being good. And sadly, Kansas is actually one of the more underrated teams this year. Jackson really, he beats himself up for picking Kansas to win the Big 12. Dude, you take 4 or 5 plays in 4 or 5 games, and Kansas probably wins the Big 12. They literally lost like 5 games by like 1 score. They're like Nebraska that year. They went 3-9. Kansas not a bad team. So Jackson's, not wrong on saying that Kansas is a good team. They're one of the better teams in the Big 12. I'll even put that on the line. Kansas is one of the better teams in the Big 12 despite being 5-6. They just needed to not lose those early games. The UNLV game, Kansas State game, several games. They lost by 1 score. They lost like 4 or 5 games by 1 score. They could be right now, instead of 5-6, they could be 9-2 like everybody else in the Big 12. It's not much separating them.
Iowa State, now they're in control of facing Arizona State.
Result. Utah State. Iowa State barely won. Mm-hmm. So telling me that one of the worst teams in the Big 12 because of Cam Rising's inability to play. Utah's 1-7 in the Big 12, and Iowa State wins by 3. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Big 12 is pretty even. Like, the only team that's just bad this year based off the way they played is Oklahoma State. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma State is bad. Every other team can beat anybody else. Utah's pretty bad, but Utah's competitive sometimes. I don't know. Big 12 is just even. I think Scotty B, like you said, it's just parity. The Big 12, you don't know what to expect any week. It's just that it's that type of league. It's always going to be this way too, I think, because they don't have a dominant team. They just don't.
Illinois beating out Rutgers in a close one.
Man, Rutgers blew this game, dude. Did you see? I did see the end of this one because
I didn't.
This Shiong field goal, or Shiano called a timeout or something like that, and Illinois was going to kick a long field goal or whatever, and then he missed it, but they called the time before the kick, and then they went for it, and Illinois scored a touchdown. Yep, that's what happened. I remember. Yeah, Illinois should have lost, but Shiano, he's good coach for Rutgers, man, but that was bad. That was bad. Icing the kicker is really stupid, man. It works sometimes, I guess, but most of the time it doesn't work. I don't know. The thing is, you call the timeout. If you're going to call the timeout on that, call it before he kicks it. Because the problem is that in most cases, if the guy kicks it and he misses it, it's like missing the first free throw in college basketball. You know how much you missed it by, so the second one you make, because you readjust for what you did wrong. Did it a little too strong? Well, lighten up a bit. Hit the second one. So in field goal kicker, he misses that first field goal. He's going to know what to do the second time to hit it, right? But in this case, Bielema was like, well, it's like a 58-yarder. He's probably not going to hit it the second time either, so we'll just go for it now. They get it, score on the play. So, it is what it is. But Rutgers should have won.
Yeah. Brutal. Rough year for Maryland.
8-4 Iowa, man. 8-4 Iowa every year.
Yeah. And then Syracuse beating UConn on. It's competitive, but
not impressive. And McCord throwing for 470, man. He beat UConn by 7, and he throws for 470. Mm-hmm. That's kind of hilarious, honestly. And this is sad. I know you saw it. I didn't think they were going to fire him, man. I get it, but I kind of don't get it. Who's Carolina going to get? I thought Chad. Chadwell. I've been saying it for years, Chadwell. But is anybody really going to do better than Mac Brown?
We'll see.
What do you think? Do you think they can get somebody?
I think whoever they get probably would have done a better job than Mac Brown next year than what he would have done. But
no, I just don't want to see North Carolina become terrible. At least with Mac Brown, they've been.
I saw. Do you follow Josh Pate?
Yes, he's Rice, the never lose the food guy. He's funny.
He said that like the Carolina job's a lot more appealing than one would think. So,
well, I mean, the thing is, and we've even had discussions on here, and even the chat too about North Carolina. I mean, North Carolina is a great campus. They've got a lot of money, and they do have the potential to go to the Big Ten. I mean, it's a great university. Great university. I don't know. The issue is that North Carolina is like Indiana. They've always been a basketball school. How do you make a basketball school a football school? Or just honestly a both sports school? Whatever, both of them. A basketball and a football school. That's what Indiana's trying to do. Everybody, some people are getting upset. They're like, "Oh, well, Indiana's investing in football and they're forgetting about Okay, they're not forgetting about basketball, dude. They're not. There are some teams. Look at Alabama. Alabama was good in basketball. They've always been football. Well, now basketball. They're getting good in basketball. It's all you just got to be good in both. North Carolina needs to put effort into football, but also the fans got to do their part too. The fans aren't always there either. A lot of games where there's like nobody there at all, like none. Kind of looking like Indiana was. They were getting better when they had Drake May, but this year the fans just, So I don't know. North Carolina has the potential. I agree with Josh Pate, but they're going to have to actually invest and try to win in football. And the thing is, it's honestly a lot easier in North Carolina than it is Indiana. North Carolina's in the ACC, man. Like the ACC's it'd be not that hard to become one of the best teams in the ACC. Now, if North Carolina joined the Big Ten, then you really have to up your game. But they're in the ACC. It shouldn't be that hard. Shouldn't.
I agree. Florida State beat Charleston Southern, but Charleston 41-7, but Charleston Southern still threw for more yards than Florida State.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, great for Florida State. They still only should have one win though. Cal, you blew that.
App State beat JMU. That's an upset.
JMU is not that good this year. They're 8-3.
I mean, yeah.
Really good year, but compared to last year, they have fallen. They have.
And then TCU beating Arizona. I mean, Arizona is disappointing, man.
Well, we knew. Okay, we didn't think they'd be this bad, but we knew when Fish left that it was gonna be worse. It's gonna be worse because I respect Fita and McMillan for staying. I do. I really respect them. And I did mention something to the nature of that during the portal cycle that I was like, man, it's really cool that they stayed. And this is an underrated thing that not a lot of people mention. A lot of guys from Arizona went to Washington. They lost the running back, Coleman. They lost several defensive players. A lot of depth that they had went to Washington. And you cannot just be a quarterback and one receiver. Can't do that. You just can't do that. When Fish left, I knew Arizona was kind of toast. I didn't think they'd be this bad with the Fita and McMillan staying. I still thought they'd be a bowl team, but not really. The more you look at it, it's not that surprising.
And then
Scotty B saying, does Arizona make a coaching change?
not after 1 year.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. And look at Michigan. I mean, Michigan's playing a lot better now than they were at the beginning of the season. I like Indiana beating them, honestly, was kind of impressive because I'm telling you, like, Michigan is better now than they were at the beginning of the season. Davis Warren's the best thing they've got. He's not good. He's good, but he's better than Orgy, and he's better than Tuttle. And that's why Michigan's getting it together. They're not a good team still overall because of the quarterback position, but they're still a talented enough team that they can be decent. I mean, that was a very impressive win.
And Nebraska is bowl eligible.
Honestly, this was an underrated thing that, like, the underrated game nobody talked about. We all thought they were toast. We all thought Nebraska was going to do it again. I thought it was going to happen, Will. I was like, man, they're missing a bowl. And they got it done. Congratulations.
Is this the first time they've beaten?
We're bowl eligible for the first time in 8 years.
Is this the first time they've beaten Wisconsin since 2012 too? Isn't it?
I think so.
And then Wisconsin beat them in the Big Ten championship game later that year. So
yeah, it was the last time. It's 2012. That was the last time Nebraska was okay.
They never recovered from that Big Ten championship game that year, man. They got killed. They could not stop the run.
Well, that was when the Big Ten was that leaders and legends nonsense, right, or whatever. The man, what was that? What's going on, man? I still can't.
That was better, man. That was better. That was better.
The thing is, I agree with you. I actually like the legends and leaders, the teams that how it was constructed better than the East and the West, where it was so unbalanced. The problem was though is that the names just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't understand. The East and the West, I complained about that for years, dude. The West, you trying to tell me Purdue, if they were in the East where IU was, they'd have had decent teams as they had? No, they'd have been horrible. Or Wisconsin, no. The only reason why like Iowa was doing decent this year is because their schedule was easy, man. That's why people remember the preseason when people said Iowa was going to go 11-1. Yeah. The only reason people said that was because Iowa's schedule was easy. Like I said when Iowa had to play in a tougher Big Ten schedule that they do a lot worse. Well, problem is they got a very favorable schedule in their first year with no division. So that's why Iowa's still going 8-4. I still think that with a tougher schedule, they won't do that. But like I said, congrats to Nebraska. I'm happy for their fans after all the junk they said to Indiana going into that. And besides all that, I'm still happy for you guys that you made a bowl. It's been a long time. Should have never been this long.
I agree. Cal beat Stanford. Good game. Underrated game.
Oh, dude, I saw Stanford up 21-7, man. I was like, oh no, Cal's gonna blow it. But all I know is how much differently will we be looking at Cal this year if they beat Florida State? You just beat Florida State, go 7-4. You know, like you're all right, Will Cox. You good, right? 7-4. You know, you're good. But you lose to Florida State, man. I can't take you seriously. I can't do it. I can't do it. Even Carolina won by like 30. I can't. I don't know. I mean, good for Cal. I'm glad they're making a bowl. Will Cox should be fine with his job, but man, I don't know, dude. That's one game could have made their season just that much better.
Or the Miami, man. They blew the Miami game.
Oh, they did. But even the Florida State game. But both those games, you flip the Florida State game, flip the Miami game, then you're really cooking at 8-3. But honestly, losing to Florida State is just worse than blowing it against Miami. I mean, to me, because Florida State's just that bad. No one else lost to them.
I mean, at least they beat Auburn.
They beat Auburn. That's the thing. Like Auburn's so great now. They beat A&M. Auburn lost to the team that lost to Florida State. Again, we can do this all day. It's funny. No, it's just hilarious. Will. Okay, that's Big 12 all right there. That is the Big 12. That's vintage Big 12. That's like Baker Mayfield stuff, man. 56-48. Like, oh my gosh. Texas Tech's quarterback throwing for 53 times, 400 yards. Ollie Gordon coming out of the blue again. And Oklahoma State still winless the Big 12. Man.
And then we have West Virginia making a bowl. I still don't.
Neil Brown.
I don't know, man. They want him gone bad. They still want him gone bad.
What do you think? Yes or no? Is he done or not?
50-50.
It's 50-50. I can't say. Who they got for last week again? I can't remember.
Who they lose to before this?
Who they got in their last week?
At Texas Tech.
Okay. Well, again, is that the game? It's going to tilt it in Neil's favor, man. Like if he beats Tech, it's 7-5. Oh, that's good enough, Neil. 7-5. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, he's Clay Helton, man. He's literally Clay Helton. He does enough. He gets that win. He gets the win he has to have, right? I mean, I would fire him. Honestly, I'd fire him. But I don't know, man. Neil Brown's hilarious to me. I just think it's hilarious.
Yes, man.
You
Pitt fell apart after the Clemson loss.
Dude, I told you Pitt sucked. No one believed me. I said Pitt was no good. Pitt was so overrated, man. And the thing is, like, to me, I will say Pitt kind of caught Louisville at a bad time coming off that Stanford game. I mean, Louisville should not have lost to Stanford. Louisville's a better team than Stanford. We all know that. Louisville's a better team than Stanford. They just choked. They choked. Mm-hmm. This is actually Louisville. Louisville's a good team. They're a good team. They're not a great team. They're a good team. But they should not have lost to Stanford. But, yeah, Pitt just caught them at a bad time.
And then Oregon State wins the Pac-12.
2. And they're still bowl eligible, right? Like, yeah. Oof. Yeah, 1-0 in the Pac. That looks dumb. Why are they calling it the Pac-12? It's the Pac-2. This is the Pac-2 this year. It's not the Pac-12. Until you add those other conferences, I understand the namesake, but this is why the names are dumb. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah. I meant that they're still have a chance to make a bowl. Is what I meant. You're right, guy. One more game. They still have a chance to make a bowl. That's what I meant. But the thing is, when you had the Big 12, you remember when the Big 12 had 10 teams, and then the Big 10, 14, the names mean nothing, man. The Atlantic Coast Conference has Pacific Coast teams now. It's dumb. This is not the Pac-12. Until you add those Mountain West teams into the league, and there's 12 teams in the conference or whatever, it's not the Pac-12. It's not. I don't care. And Hummus, Jimbo would be absolutely nuts. I'm sorry to take the job. Why would you quit retirement? You've got it made, man. You've got it made. What if you were Jimbo, you would just stay retired, right, Will?
Well, I don't know, man. It's your alma mater, though. Like, we'll see.
Yeah, a chance to steal more money from another program, right? This time your alma mater, they give him a big contract worth $50 million. He takes $50 million more when they fire him after 4 years. I'm sorry, man. I mean, I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Why? I mean, do you think he can win? I mean, you think he legitimately can win, or you think he'll get fired?
I don't know, man.
If he goes to West Virginia, you think he'll get fired there?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, if we're saying probably, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I wouldn't do it. But the thing is, who was West Virginia gonna get? They wanted.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, West Virginia. And people are saying Nick Saban. I'm like, dude, no. Nick Saban's not going to West Virginia, man. Oh my! Oh man.
Shout out to Baylor.
Clay Helton has a better win percentage at USC than Lincoln Riley. Oh man.
We'll see if Riley can get it together next year. We'll see.
That's rough.
Mm-hmm.
You paid a lot of money to get worse.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Helton kind of just stopped recruiting, though. They kind of had to fire him. But maybe didn't have to replace him.
That's true. That's true. LSU didn't quit.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
I know you were hoping they'd lose, man.
Yeah.
And Duke is like Pitt, but slightly better, I guess. I don't know. They're both good. I mean, 8-3, happy for Diaz, but I mean, it's not an impressive 8-3 at all. They have like 6 wins by 1 score. Literally, Duke is like the inverse of Kansas. You know what I'm saying? Like, Duke is the inverse of Duke's won all of those games. Kansas has lost all their close games.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kansas would be favored.
Yeah. Kansas
would be favored against Duke right now.
I mean, Duke did almost beat SMU though. So that's
but SMU turned it over like 7 times.
Oh yeah, they did.
I mean, SMU played terrible. I mean, that was the worst game of the season. They played horrible. I get it, but bad day for them. I don't know. I just think Duke's overrated. They're not great, but I mean Virginia Tech was favored in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, and they still lost. I don't know.
Mm.
Happy for Duke. They're having a good year. But I mean, this is a classic case of if they were in the Big Ten or the SEC, their record would be terrible. It'd be bad.
Yeah, Duke would be bad. I mean, if they had Indiana's record, it wouldn't be horrible. But I mean, not record.
If they had Indiana's schedule, they're still not 10-1.
They
don't.
They wouldn't be 10-1, but they would probably.
They would not probably beat. They wouldn't beat Michigan. Is that if Nebraska showed up, I think they'd beat Duke. But Nebraska just doesn't show up half the time. If Nebraska showed up, beat Duke. Washington could probably beat Duke. Duke would probably be like 7-4, 6-5. Probably with Indiana schedule. I don't know. 7-4, 6-5.
And then USC, they got their act together. They beat UCLA. So good job, USC. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think
it's kind of like LSU beating
Vandy. If they're scoring 19 against UCLA, I don't think they're going to score that many against Notre Dame, though.
Yeah, it's kind of like LSU beating Vandy. It's just good job, I guess. I mean, you should win, but I mean they didn't play very well. And honestly, should have lost. I mean, they were losing going to the fourth, but I don't know. I mean, UCLA showed some fight, so kind of sucks for them that they're no longer have a chance to make a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, again, our preface: if USC plays like this against Notre Dame, they will get destroyed. But if they play like they did against Penn State or even LSU, then Notre Dame could have some trouble. Mm-hmm. But USC show up. That's it. Will USC show up at all? If they don't, then Notre Dame should win easily. But if they do, then it could be interesting.
On to rivalry week. Every time it goes to top 25, man.
Yeah, I can't stand that. ESPN always does that, man. It's like just stay on the FBS.
Kent State. Oh, Kent State.
Akron.
Yeah, and Akron beating Toledo.
Oh man, Kent State's the worst team ever, man. They suck. Mark's alma mater. Sorry, Mark. They're bad. They actually have usually never been good. Like they have a rare decent season. They're like consistently one of the worst teams in the. They're never good. They just don't even try to win. I mean, the thing is, like, how do you even get fans into Kent State Stadium this year? How do you even get anybody to show up?
That's
like, Like really, outside of like some of the players' families or some of the students that are going there. Nothing else to do. Like, why would you go to a game? Yeah. I mean, you never win. There's no reason to go. Like I don't even think Nebraska. I mean, maybe they would honestly, but I don't even know if Nebraska fans could show up every game if they were going 0-12. Maybe they would. I don't know, but that's sad for Kent State.
Yeah. Memphis Tulane will be fun.
Good game. Spread though.
Mm-hmm.
Spread. Why is it 13.5? That's steep.
Yeah. I mean, I know Memphis, they had that bad game against Navy and they lost to UCSA, but dang.
True. Still kind of shocking it's that steep.
Mm-hmm.
Tulane's probably better.
Yeah.
Against I think I cut out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think I cut out there. But what I was saying was Memphis is susceptible to giving up points. So I will go Tulane to win 34-28. But I think Memphis covers.
I'll go 38-14 Tulane. I think Tulane. I think Boise will win big against Oregon State.
Boise's at home. If they were on the road, maybe. But they're at home, Bluefield. There is a chance, though, because
Chili, 29.
There is a chance though that because it's their last game for the champion, but they should be fine. I'll go Boise 31-17. That is cold.
I'll go 28-10. And yes, Troy, they are the 2-pack champ.
Pac-2, man. It's not the Pac-12. Add some teams and get them officialized, and then we'll change it. But they're still the Pac-2 to me right now.
Colorado should take care of Oklahoma State.
Should.
Yeah.
Good. Oklahoma State's been feisty times, though. They've been kind of feisty. I don't know. I mean, they can't beat anybody. So for that reason, I'm not going to pick them. But I think Colorado, I think Oklahoma State has a chance to cover. They probably more than likely won't. But I do think they'll keep it kind of close at times. I mean, they've been kind of good at times for a really bad team. Kind of good at moments, but they're not consistent. So 38-20. Colorado.
Yeah, I'll go 35-17 Colorado. I mean, Oklahoma State could make it close to try not to go winless in the Big 12, but I think they will be winless. And then we have the battle for the axe.
Paul Bunyan's axe.
At 24 degrees. Ooh, colder.
Wisconsin needs a win in a very cold environment. Of an environment that Paul Bunyan would like. I don't know, man. I mean, how do you even pick this game? Really? How do you pick this game? I mean, the way Minnesota's played this year overall, I mean, they've looked better than Wisconsin, but I mean, even Wisconsin's had decent moments like the Oregon game.
I think Wisconsin will win it just because they need it more. So
14 Wisconsin.
Yeah, you stole my score. So I'll go 17-14.
No, I didn't know your score.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Ooh, big game in the MAC, Miami of Ohio and Bowling Green. I don't know those teams enough to pick them. But.
I'll go Bowling Green just because Basilak, former IU quarterback.
We have Navy and East Carolina.
Give me ECU. I don't care. I don't care if I'm wrong. Just give me ECU. They're playing well. Carolina's in the dumpster. Give me East Carolina.
We have the Egg Bowl, -26 for Mississippi.
Ole Miss, do you think they cover?
No, I don't think they cover.
I don't either. Give me Ole Miss 38-17.
Yeah, I'll go 41-17. I think it'll be close, but I don't think.
I miss Mike Leach. I don't know about you, but I miss Mike. The thing is, I don't care about either of these teams that much. I have no feelings for them. They're just teams, right? So I always enjoyed the Egg Bowl. I like the Egg Bowl. It's a fun game. Thanksgiving, whatever. It's a fun game, and it sucks to see it being reduced to this.
I just remember the Ole Miss guy simulating the dog pee. That
yes, one time. That is one of my all-time favorite moments in college football. Man, that dude lifted up his leg, man, and getting a sportsman penalty. You had the game, and then they moved it back, and the dude missed the extra point. The dude missed the extra point because they moved it back, and Ole Miss lost, dude. It was so epic. And every time they play this game, these two teams, they show that clip. Man. I mean, I don't know. I get why they called it. I get it. It's on Sports Life. But, dude, that was epic, though. And then they lost because of it. It's so funny, man. I miss the Egg Bowl being good. I do. Yeah. I don't care who wins in the game ever, but I miss it.
That's wanted to be good. Yeah. Stanford, they're underdogs against San Jose State.
Ooh. Dude, I have no clue.
No, yeah. Georgia Tech, Georgia. This is probably Georgia Tech's best team in a while. But I don't.
Been comparatively decent the last few years, though. The difference is Haynes King going to be playing? If he's not, they're not winning. They barely beat NC State. But when they played Miami, they had Haynes King.
Yeah.
Is there any report on him?
Hopeful Haynes. Wait, oh no,
he's been in and out of the lineup every week, man. I can't even keep up.
I don't know, man. I don't see anything about it.
Haynes King. I don't know. I think Georgia wins.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia Tech could cover. I'll go 34-17. I've been in the covering mood tonight. I could be wrong on that. I don't really care about the spreads. Georgia's going to win, but Georgia
I'll
Tech
go 41-17. I'll have them covered, but not by that much.
Man, this game would have been even more funny though if Nebraska was still trying for bowl eligibility. Now they're bowl eligible. So it's like I don't really care now. You know what I'm saying?
It's
like
cold. It'll be cold though, man.
The only stakes that there are for this game is whether Iowa can go 8-4 like they always do. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Cold, man. Cold.
Instead of Iowa being tied in you, they should just be 8-4 you. They're literally 8-4 every year. Even in the years,
I think Iowa. I think they'll since Nebraska passes more than Iowa does. I think they'll help Iowa. I'll
24-21 Iowa.
28-10 Iowa.
I can't believe that weather, dude. I would not want to be playing in 20-degree weather. Honestly, that's rough. Mm-hmm. Like UCF, 64 degrees, man. Perfect weather. You can't tell me that ain't perfect weather, right there.
Well, I love seeing the when they line up on the line and you can see their breath. I do like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, Utah UCF's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, it is. I'll have UCF
winning, just chokes every game.
Yeah, I'll have UCF win, but I'll have Utah cover.
20-17 Central Florida.
Yeah, I'll go 24-19.
Yeah, we're agreeing with each other on all these games so far.
Yeah,
we always really switch it up eventually.
Nothing's been too close.
No, I haven't really had to think on really any of these. I mean, a little bit, but Minnesota,
State, Michigan.
Is just home field. Okay, the game. All right, the game. Any chance?
I think Michigan covers, but I don't. Yeah.
The only way Michigan has a chance is if they force turnovers. Defense. Michigan's defense forces turnovers. I mean, they're just not good. They're just not good enough offensively. I mean, I know they just put up 50, but they can't pass the ball. They can't stretch the D. That's the problem. Michigan cannot stretch the defense at all.
I think they'll get pressure on Howard, so that's.
I think they force a pick. Yeah. Even if they did.
So I'll go 34-17 Bucks.
31-14.
Mm-hmm. And then there it is, Tennessee at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Troy saying 49-3. Yeah, it could happen. I think they should. Michigan will fight. I mean, big junk though. Tennessee just blew this game. I mean, I got nothing against Tennessee. I got nothing against Tennessee at all, but I like Bama a lot better. I mean, I got relatives that some of them are a few on distant like Tennessee, but vast majority of them are Bama fans. So I got to go with the majority with the fandom. I love Bama a lot more, but still, the few Tennessee people, they're always talking smack. So, I get gifted a Tennessee shirt in the process somehow. Mm-hmm. They convert me to a volunteer. Not happening, man. Crimson Tide, I don't care how bad it gets with no saving. Alabama, baby. But I don't hate Tennessee, but it would be kind of funny if they lost, though, because they have talked a lot of smack this year. And honestly, I mean, Tennessee's just, I mean, they're not great, man. I mean, they're all right. I don't know. What do you think? It could happen. It could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vandy's trending down, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Downward, though. They're not playing as well as they were when they hung with Texas and beat Bama.
I'll go 20
Tennessee.
I'll go 27-20 Tennessee.
31-24 Tennessee.
Yeah, 27-20. I think
I can't pull it. If Vandy was still playing as well as they were in the year, I would, but they're not playing as well. So.
Now here's a fun game.
This game scares me, Will, because you know good and well that the winner of this game, they got to leapfrog Indiana. It's like, all right. I mean, like, no. I mean, in your opinion, Will, what scenario helps Indiana more? I think South Carolina barely beating Clemson helps more.
I think either team barely winning helps.
I think a close win either way else, but I think the South Carolina's down at 15.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they could. The thing is, though, wait a minute. The ACC scenario, I'm trying to think. Clemson's they're not making the ACC title game because it's going to be
maybe Miami or SMU to lose.
Either of them to lose.
Either.
Lost, and Clemson would play SMU.
Yes.
Or if SMU lost, they'd play Miami. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if if Clemson makes the ACC title game and wins, that doesn't hurt Indiana at all. But
I mean, SMU or Miami, the loser could stay.
I don't think they will. They should. Miami might, maybe. Man. Miami should not get in, man. I don't know. I mean, you're telling me that if Ohio State loses to Michigan, Indiana or if Penn State lost their opponent, Indiana still can get in the Big Ten title game, and then they lose to Oregon, and then they're out with 2 losses, but then Miami gets in with 2 losses? Okay, no. They lost to Georgia Tech, man. No. Well, I don't know. This is a 50-50 game, to be honest. I mean, it's at Clemson, but the last time South Carolina played at Clemson, they won.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked that game. It was one of our first shows, by the way. It was one of our shows. Yeah. I picked South Carolina. I was the only one that did. I was like, it was the same thing as that Kansas State at K-State. Everybody was going bare necessities, and Jackson lost it because he was like, no. Those are like my 2 big wins that year. I went Kansas State over Baylor, and I picked South Carolina over Clemson. I don't know, man. The only reason I picked South Carolina over Clemson that year, though, ironically, was because I picked it in the preseason for some reason. I don't know why I did, so I stuck with it. But I honestly don't even remember what I picked in the beginning. I've got to do a better job of keeping track of what I picked. I don't remember if I had South Carolina beating Clemson or not. I don't remember. I don't know. It's a 50-50 game. I mean, the spread indicates that. I mean, they're even giving South Carolina half a point.
For me, and this, I can't trust Clemson because the 2 best teams they played, they lost too big. So I'm going to go with the Gamecocks to do it again in Clemson. I'm going to go 28-24 Gamecocks over Clemson.
I don't want them leapfrogging IU, but I'll go with South Carolina. I'll go 31-28. I picked them 2 years ago, and they got it right for me. I mean, when they've played everybody else, it's worse. Clemson beating up on everybody, but when they play a good team, they haven't done well. So I'll go South Carolina. I think they'll get a win. They'll get it done, but hopefully they don't leapfrog Indiana. I don't think they will, but you never know.
You never know.
Now, if they beat Bama, they'd have been in the playoff.
Yep.
That's a funny thing. LSU or Bama, they've been in the playoff.
Illinois, Northwestern. I think Illinois wins.
38-24 Illinois.
38-24. I'm not going to go. I'll go 24-14.
Okay.
Louisville, Kentucky.
Illinois is susceptible to giving up points. They gave up 49 to Purdue. It's the only reason I did it. And 31 to Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust this game, man. Louisville choked last year.
Mm-hmm.
They choked against Stanford. I mean, will they get revenge? You think they'll get revenge? It is at Kroger Field, too. But Kentucky did beat Louisville at Louisville, so I don't know. I mean, the problem is that Louisville's not significantly better than Kentucky. This is that whole ACC thing. right? Like the ACC is not that great, and the SEC is strong, and I got a lot of great teams, whatever. So you got Kentucky at 4-7. I mean, they almost beat Georgia. Kentucky beat Ole Miss. Like Kentucky can be all right when they want to be. I don't know. I mean,
this one is hard. I agree, Jeffrey. This one is hard.
Kentucky's not a good team, but they've been decent at times.
Yeah.
And Louisville lost to the last year. Arguably is a better team. I thought Louisville was the same as last year. I still think that's kind of true, but Louisville might have been slightly better last year. They had Jordan at back. They had Thrashed. I mean, this year, Brown and Brooks are. I don't know. Louisville's just. I don't know, man. I mean, they're not bad. They're not a bad team, but at times, that Pitt game was great. The Pitt game was great. They've had moments, but Scotty B says, I don't trust Kentucky enough to win.
I agree with that, Hummus. I might tail you on that. Illinois minus 7.5.
This is 50-50, man. It can go either way.
I'll go for Austin. I'll go 28-24 Louisville. But I'm not
24-21 Louisville, I guess. But if Kentucky wins, it wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah.
So, come on, Louisville.
Duke, Wake.
Same thing as the other game, except Wake sucks.
Yeah.
Duke could lose. Like, Duke legitimately could lose because Duke's not a very good team, but Wake stinks. So, I can't pick Wake. I can't. Even if it was like Virginia Tech again, if it was like on the road, I'd go Virginia Tech. I'd still pick Virginia Tech again. Something like that. But Wake's pretty bad. So, 27-21 Duke.
Yeah, I'll go 38-17 Duke. Can Kansas backdoor their way into a bowl?
And Scotty B's been talking about, I think he said that Kansas has never won Waco. The thing is, though, man, Kansas has been playing really good. But the problem that I see here, and this is a stupid thing, to even bring up, but honestly, I think it might matter a little bit. Kansas's last 3 games have all come against ranked teams. Baylor's not ranked. Now, I will say Kansas has fought all the way back to get to a bowl. Will they finish the job? But, the Baylor doesn't have that prestige this season of Colorado or whatever. Iowa State. $27-24 Kansas. I'll go Kansas. I think they'll get it done. I don't trust it though. I don't trust it. Baylor's tough to beat at home, but I don't know, man. Back, I'll give Kansas a shot.
I'll go with Baylor. We gotta disagree at some point, so I'll go with Baylor 28-24.
I could be wrong. I really like the way Kansas is playing lately. We'll see. See how it works out. Could be right. I hope Baylor wins for Scotty. Hope Kansas wins for Jackson. So
West Virginia, Texas Tech.
Dude, didn't we pick UCF last week?
Yeah.
The thing with Neil Brown, Will. The thing with Neil Brown is that when I pick West Virginia to win, they lose. I kind of know, like, when I pick them to win, they lose. When I don't pick them, they win. And I know that my pick doesn't matter. I'm not the superstitious type, like some people that think that their pick is going to influence it. I don't. But at the same time, because of the past results of where I can't get West Virginia right, I can't peg them. I can't pick them correctly. I don't know what to do here. Because Texas Tech, arguably, they're a bipolar team. They're a very bipolar team. They've had moments where, their defense is okay. And then they've had moments where their defense doesn't exist. And then they have moments where their offense is, average. And then they have moments where their offense is elite. Look at their running back. Look at their stats. They can put up yards. They can. To be honest with you, if Texas Tech has a good offensive game, West Virginia is not going to be able to keep up on the scoreboard. It's whether West Virginia can stop Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they can do that?
I think Tech wins, man. Even though Jackson says they're a disaster.
Tech is a disaster, and Texas Tech's 7-4.
Yeah. Even though Jackson says they're a disaster.
But I mean,
I'm going to have Tech win 41-17, and Neil Brown gets the pink slip.
38-20. Bye-bye, Neil Brown. They got to fire him if they lose by that much. So
yeah.
I'm with you. I'm going Tech. But watch West Virginia win just so Neil Brown stays. I'll be keeping an eye on that one.
Army should beat UTSA. We'll see if they can get it done.
It'll be a letdown, though, like with Navy. Ever since Navy, they didn't recover. It didn't recover, so I don't know. I guess Army, but I really don't have a peg on that one.
Two of Jeffrey's favorite teams, Boston College and Pitt.
Why you gotta do this to me, Will? You're breaking my heart here. I'm sorry. I wish Jason was here. Where's Jason? Where's Jason been? I was too nice to Boston College, so he had no reason to come anymore. Come on, Jason. Like, Boston College still sucks.
Two teams are going to be making a bowl.
They still suck. They both are not deserving of a bowl. I'm sorry.
They are deserving of CW, though. This is a classic CW game.
I'll go BC 24-21. I'll do it. I know the CW curse, but has that worked this year?
I don't know.
Does the CW curse still happen like last year where every favorite lost?
I feel like I pick Pitt every week and they lose. So
yeah, I'm going BC, dude.
I'll go BC.
Pitt is falling off a cliff. And Holstein's not playing anymore either.
Yeah, I'll go 31-24.
Yeah, Pitt was 7-0, Hummus. They've collapsed. They're ranked like 17th.
Penn State should beat Maryland by a lot.
I hope Penn State loses, though.
That'll be funny.
No chance. I wanted them to lose to Minnesota. And State, not Penn State. If Penn State had lost to Minnesota, all Indiana would have needed was an Ohio State loss to Michigan. That's it. And they would have been in the Big Ten title game still. That's it. But Penn State just had to squeak it out. They had to squeak it out. But, yeah, Penn State's going to win. I can't pick that. USC, any chance of an upset? I know you're picking Notre Dame.
I can't see it, man. I can't see their offense scoring any points.
Are you nervous at all?
A twinge? Because these games are always close. Like, even when USC is bad, when these games are
31-28 Notre Dame.
Oh my God, Jeffrey, get that out of here. 38-10 Notre Dame.
31-28 Notre Dame. I'm going with a nail biter, man. Will on the edge of his seat. Playoff green. Come on, man. You pulled a bend. Come on. All right. Notre Dame going to win, though, man. They're going to win.
These games are always closer than they should be in the Coliseum because USC's talent, they play up to their talent.
That's why I'm picking a close game, a cover. I mean, come on. I mean, hey, Notre Dame should win by 30, but, you know, I'm going with a close game. Now, I want an upset here.
Yeah.
I want an upset. I want an upset. You know, like for you, Will.
Yeah.
I want Notre Dame to win. Miami. I want Miami going down.
Mm-hmm.
I want Miami out of the playoff. They're not a playoff team. Okay, they're not a playoff team. I want it to happen. Yeah, I agree with you, Hummus. They are better off not going to the game. I agree. It would have been cool for them too, but I mean, this is the thing though. If Miami loses in the ACC title game, then they're fine. Oh, they're still going to get in, but Indiana does, and they don't. That's not even fair, honestly. Especially when Indiana's strength of schedule is better than Miami's. I mean, that's just insane. I don't know, man. I mean, you see it. You see the dome. See it. It's possible.
I don't. You know what?
It's possible.
It's happening. It's happening. All right, Miami, you frauds. Fraudulent football team, Miami is.
28-27 Cuse.
43-42. Cuse wins on a 2-point conversion at the end.
I'm going Cuse, man. I could be daydreaming on this one, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry, traveling fools and Coop. And I mean, Miami's fraudulent, man. Give me Cuse. Cuse.
Cal, SMU.
SMU should win.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a shot, Cal, but 34-20 SMU. I think they cover slightly.
Yeah. I agree.
Miami by 3.
I'll go 38-24.
Yeah.
And then the Iron Bowl.
I'm just that A on the screen, man. Just it's sad to me, man. How far we've fallen. We haven't even fallen that far, and it just feels so far. I mean, that Oklahoma game, man. I mean that's got to be like a top 10 turn off the TV type of game for me. I watched it till the end, dude, but I was mad. I mean, the thing is that again, I can take losing fine, man, if you try. Alabama did not try. They just did not try, and they shouldn't be ranked 13. I get the strength of schedule record, whatever, but I mean, Indiana lost by 23 to Ohio State on the road, and they dropped 5 spots. Alabama lost by 21 to a 5-5 team, and they dropped 6. And honestly, make that make sense. Mm-hmm. I mean, Bama should have dropped by more. Probably should have dropped to 50. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of upsets. I mean, I probably would have if Ole Miss and all those teams didn't lose. I get that, but I don't know, man. I mean, like I said, I just hate to see it. I hate to see it. The lack of effort is just something I don't think we would have ever seen under Nick Saban. I mean, Nick Saban always had them showing up to play, even if they didn't win. But I get this is a different era now. I don't even know if Saban can really do this what he used to do. It's a different era. Players are different. If you
they gotta. I mean, I don't know. It just Kalen DeBoer needs to improve in that badly if he's going to succeed.
We're going to do that now, though, Will. I just think with NIL and stuff, I do think it's harder to get your team ready to play every week because players get distracted by social media, and if you go off on them, then they want to transfer. You know, like you can't discipline. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Hummus. I mean, again, this is coming from a Bama fan. I am an Alabama fan. Most of you guys know that, but they are too inconsistent to even be. I mean, they're right now they're only 2 teams away from being in. All it would take is like an Indiana. Yeah, sorry I cut out there. But you know what I'm saying, though, Will? All it takes is a couple losses and Alabama's back in.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think? Yeah, I think Bama. I think they'll win. I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I think it'll be 20. I'll go 24-21 Bama.
The problem is that Auburn played really good last week, but will Auburn do it again? And Bama bad, but will they do it again? Will Bama show up angry? I don't know. 28-20, Bama, I guess. Bama should win, but they should have beat Oklahoma. So, I mean, that doesn't even apply. I guess they'll win. I don't
know. What do they call this? A territorial battle?
Territorial Cup, yeah, the territorial Cup.
Okay.
The thing is, I think most people would have thought that these records would have been reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Most people would have thought that it would have been more likely of a 9-2 Arizona and a 4-7 Arizona State than this. No one thought this. Isn't it funny? And even we thought it too. I'm not going to disagree with that. I thought it was highly probable. Most people thought Arizona Utah was going to be the Big 12 title game. That did not materialize, man. Arizona Utah just fell off the face of the earth. There's a chance Arizona State loses. There's a chance. There is a chance. Because, again, there's not a lot separating the good from the bad in the Big 12. There's just not. It's a very narrow gap. It's not significant. I think if Arizona was still had a shot for a bowl game, I think that they would try harder. But they still are going to want to spoil their rival. I think Arizona State's been good enough that I think they'll win 34-27, but it's going to be close. They're not going to win big.
I don't know, man. That rushing attack for Arizona State's good. That could get ugly, but I'll go 31-20. I'll go 31-21. And then Arkansas, Missouri.
Yeah, there's a lot of just kind of iffy games, to be honest. I mean, Missouri is they're one of those teams that like, are they as good as their record? Are they as good as their ranking? Probably not. But I mean, when they have Brady Cook, they are better. But he's been out some, so that kind of gives them the benefit of the doubt. Arkansas has been very weird. They've had moments like the Tennessee game. And they've had moments. And then they've had the Oklahoma State game and other games. They just, I don't know. I mean, like, this game just doesn't matter. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It's a rivalry. I think Missouri cares about the rivalry more, too.
Yeah, Missouri probably cares more, but I mean, I'm just saying this game doesn't really matter, though. Like, Missouri, whatever happens, like, they're still going to get in a bowl. Arkansas is still going to get in a bowl. It's not a lot of stakes here. And the rivalry factor, I mean, how much of a rivalry is this? Like you said, I think I agree with the fact that Missouri cares more. Does Arkansas care? Like, Arkansas
cares more about the LSU rivalry.
Texas A&M, LSU. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. They don't really care about Missouri. I don't know. I guess Missouri 31-21.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
31-20.
I guess 28-24, maybe a little closer, but I think Missouri wins.
Who did you go with?
Missouri, 28-21.
Okay. All right, I cut out there. Sorry.
And then Michigan State.
Missouri as well. Yeah.
I think Michigan State will win this game because they need to make a bowl, and Rutgers doesn't, and it's not really it's not a rivalry.
Yeah, it's not a rivalry, man.
So I'll go
fake rivalry.
Yeah. I'll go
24-21 Michigan State.
24-20 Michigan State.
Rutgers is kind of just choked. They had an easy schedule too, and they blew it. They blew all these games.
Yeah.
Rutgers could have been 9-3.
Mm-hmm. And then we have NC State and Carolina. Carolina has found a way to lose these games. I mean, I know the past few years, and some in shocking.
Unfortunately, I'm going to go NC State 28-24. I know North Carolina,
I'll go 31-28 State.
There is a chance that the team shows up because it's Matt Brown's last game. But I don't know. I mean, this game just kind of it's kind of sad now. I hate to see with the Matt Brown situation. So I guess NC State. I don't want to pick it, but I guess it is what it is.
TCU, Cincinnati. I thought Cincinnati looked like they might contend for the Big 12, and then they faded late.
I'll go TCU 31-24. I've picked Cincinnati a lot because of Brady.
Yeah, I agree.
I've been wrong like every week, so I'm going TCU.
I'm with you there. I'll go TCU 38-31.
I just can't keep picking a team and they keep losing.
Yeah. I think Washington State will beat Wyoming.
Sure. By more than Boise did.
Yeah. Do you think how much do you think
on this game? Fun fact on this game. This is the first night game ever in this series. Can you believe that? Never been a night game before. What do you think is more surprising? The fact Indiana's favored by 29 or the fact that this is the first night game ever in the series?
First night game.
Yeah. I think it's kind of ridiculous. Like, you've never had a night game ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does Indiana cover?
I think they'll cover.
I'll go 38-7.
I'll go 42-3.
And I know that was not my score on the Indiana show, but I don't remember what my score was. So I'm going Indiana bigger on here. But on the Indiana show, I had it closer. I don't remember. I think I said like 38-17. But I still got Indiana winning by a lot. They should win big. The only way they don't is if they just let that Ohio State game still hang over. You just forget it. Flush it down. It doesn't matter. Win this game, you're in the playoff. That's all I got to do. Get the bucket back. They haven't had it since 2019, and Purdue is awful. Just beat it. That's all I got to do.
It would be all of Billy Napier's goodwill would be gone if they blow this.
Dude. Man, Billy Napier, man. All the goodwill would just go down the drain. And the thing is, I could envision it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, Florida State's really bad.
Yeah.
They're really bad. I'll go 38-20 Florida, but if they did lose, it'd be hilarious.
I'll go 35-10 for.
Yeah. Florida should be fine. They should be fine, but it would be hilarious if they choked.
I would think Oklahoma would have a better chance in this game if they had to make a bowl, but I don't think they care that much.
Yeah. LSU 28-21. I mean, they're at home.
Yeah, I'll go 31.
And I know that people don't care because Bama destroyed them in Death Valley, but Bama played the best game and probably of their season against LSU.
Yeah.
That's the best performance all year.
I'll go 31-14 LSU.
Yeah, I'll go LSU.
And then Washington
chokes. Any chance Oregon chokes?
No, not at home. Don't win at home.
34-17 Oregon.
Yeah.
Now they could choke.
Yep.
They could choke. I mean, it's at night. I mean, we know that A&M at night's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem. And Texas has not looked all that good. I don't know. I mean, I don't want A&M to win. I don't, because I just want them out of the playoff picture. I don't want the winning. Honestly, I think it would just be better if Texas won. Get A&M out of the picture for Indiana, Notre Dame, and all these teams like that. I think it's just better to get A&M out of the picture, but I could see it though, man. I could see it. I know A&M has had some bad games, but you pulling it? I'm thinking about it.
I'm pulling it, Jeffrey. I'm pulling it.
Yeah. Texas, man.
Texas
28-24 Texas A&M. I don't want them to win. I don't.
I'm going 31-17 A&M.
I know you want it probably for Notre Dame, but I mean, I just still don't know. I don't want them to win, but I think they're gonna win because they're at home. It's at night. I think they'll get it done.
Kansas State, Iowa State. Ooh, this could be interesting.
This is a 50-50 game.
I'll go with the Cyclones. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
I take that back. I think it realistically should be a 50-50 game, but Kansas State on the road has been bad.
Yeah.
Iowa State 31-20.
I'll go 28-20 Iowa State. And then the Commonwealth Cup at night.
All eligibility on the line. Dude, it's a heck though. This would actually be an epic loss if Virginia Tech lost. It's at night.
Yeah, it would be.
In Lane Stadium. You can't lose.
24-20
Tech.
28-24 Tech.
They better win.
They better.
Sister.
And then Houston, BYU. I think BYU will bounce back.
Man, hopefully.
They have to.
BYU should
I'll go
win, right?
BYU 28-14.
31-17.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Houston's had moments, but they're not good. So, I mean, BYU, they haven't looked good lately, but, I mean, Houston's pretty bad. But, I mean, Houston's 3-5 in the Big 12. They can beat people. But,
Yeah.
BYU at night on their own field should be fun.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us during the regular season. The comment Hummus may be the only one left, but appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you guys for watching. It's been a lot of fun, and hopefully all of our teams win on rivalry weeks. Not possible, but hopefully it's a great rivalry week. I'm still hoping Carolina wins, even with Matt Brown being gone. Even if I didn't pick it. Indiana just beat Purdue. Win by 50. Leave all doubt off the field. Get the win, and hopefully Bama beats Auburn despite that ugly performance against Oklahoma, and hopefully Notre Dame pounces USC and doesn't screw around and make it close like I'm predicting it to be.
My gosh, Jeff, you're driving me crazy.
Sorry about that, man.
It's fine. I'm giving you a hard time.
I know you're good, but definitely been a lot of fun, and definitely try to be back for I'm sure the conference championships and stuff like that. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Thanks, guys.